Hey guys, Captain C.A. Richardson here for Flats Class YouTube. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about bass baits. Nah, not really. I want to talk to you about baits that catch flounder, redfish, speckled trout, snook, tarpon. Unfortunately, a lot of those are bass baits. And yes, when I'm talking about Z-Man, I'm typically talking about the Ned rig. I'm talking about the chatterbait, the new bullseye spinner. But they do have a few freshwater profiles, especially this new one that has tons of promise. And what do I mean by that? I mean the versatility of how you can fish it. And it resembles nothing in salt water. Yet, we've been fishing it a little bit and we've been catching fish in a variety of ways. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the goat. I'm talking about the baby goat and the goat. And I haven't gotten the billy goat yet, which is the biggest of these two. But I can tell you, this almost toad-like crayfish-looking bait has been whacking speckled trout and snook. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can rig this bait to make it work for you. Because when I first saw it, I thought, well, this is going to be a badass skipping bait. Look how wide that body is. If I put a heavy jig head on this, I'll be able to skip this under mangroves and docks like crazy. Then I thought, well, if I don't put any weight on it at all and I just put it on a rigging hook, it'll swim across the top like a great little paddle tail, top water. And it did that too. Then the smaller version, I was like, well, I could Ned rig that, catch fish on it that way. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. But while I'm busy putting all this stuff together, I want you to watch this little trip I took with my wife a little north of here towards Cedar Key, where we fished some river and some creek stuff for some snook. And you'll see how the snook reacted to this bait. This episode of Flats Class YouTube is brought to you by Aquatraction, your go-to solution for advanced marine flooring. She's out of the boat barn and ready to roll. Get this day started. Nice little river snook. Really nice. Good job, girl.
They like those trees.
Mm-hmm. They like the goat. That's the little baby goat.
Look at that.
All right, let's get you a picture. It's pretty cool. That's your first river snook.
Awesome.
Good to see that your little baby goat here on the Texas eye is a good little search bait here. Cool. All right, I'm gonna let you let them go.
Okay. Graceful, right?
Oh, always.
Okay, ready?
Goes. Nice job, babe. So I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I promise I'll take you back to the action and we'll wrap up. But let's talk about the goat itself. You know, in this video, you see me actually throwing a hard bait. I did switch over to a soft bait eventually, but I had already pre-rigged these little baby goats up for my wife to start catching the trout on the outside. And because of the wind had kept us tucked up inside the river and some of the surrounding creeks, I just decided to let her throw it. And who would have guessed we would have whacked the snook like that? Now, albeit most of the snook were small, but steady action. So what do they think they see when they see the goat? Do they think they see a shrimp, a crab, a crayfish? Remember, snook travel way up rivers and into reservoirs when they winter. So they're used to eating a lot of the same prey that bass do. But out on the flats, this is going to look like a prawn shrimp. It could be a crab. It could be any of that stuff. So here's the way that I started thinking about the ways we could fish this bait and really be effective. Naturally, on the baby goat, one of the cool ways would be just to Ned rig it. You know, that way you're going to have this bait that kind of stands up and jigs around. This is going to be a great wintertime bait on these small shrooms heads. It's going to be excellent. Going to be dynamite, in fact. And then we started playing around with it a little bit for speckled trout. And if you put it on an unweighted, extra wide gap rigging hook that's heavy duty, like a 4 or a 5/0, well, you can make a cast on 8-pound and get it way out there and reel this thing. And these legs are going to go like crazy on top of the water. And you're going to generate some pretty wicked speckled trout blasts in the water to get them to go on that. So that's 2 different ways. The way you saw them so far on our fishing trip with my wife is I have it rigged on a Texas eye. Now, I did that a lot because a lot of the places that we fish up here on the Nature Coast has some hard bottom and you get snagged a lot. So jig heads are always hung up. But these little Texas eyes are fantastic for negotiating that stuff. And then when we were fishing the edges of the banks in there that had all the wood, this made perfect sense and it allowed her to fish basically trouble-free, snag-free, if you will. Another great way to fish this bait is going to be as the trailer on your spinner bait. So you guys that are up there in Louisiana, Northeast Florida, Lower Georgia, anywhere in the Biloxi Marsh, this is going to be an excellent big redfish bait to be able to toss around. You can use it for a chatterbait trailer as well. Another way, you could always rig these things on weighted rigging hooks. One of my favorite ways to rig this thing is going to be for skipping. You know, you get that big wide body that you see right here. Put that on a nice heavy jig head, like 3/8. Man, I'll be able to swing that thing and skip it way up underneath those deeper docks, or be able to fish it under some of the deeper undercuts down there in Everglades National Park and Whitewater Bay or 10,000 Islands or any of those places. So those are just a few ways to rig this bait that you can make a bass bait, an inshore saltwater bait, lickety split. And I'm already thinking that I can probably catch tarpon on this too with that jig head. Now let's go back to the action, and at the end, we'll close it up. All right, we're gonna stop here. You know why they hit here, right?
That creek right there.
Got that little drain there, you got that big undercut bank right there. This is perfect. Perfect spot. I'm gonna sit here and see if we can't crank on a few. Let me help you out there, Blondie. He eats the goat. He eats the goat. This little cool little bass bait, perfect for these little guys in here. You're looking for steady action on a windy day, this is it, right?
It absolutely is.
Gotta be
having
the
a ball.
Yeah, wearing them out. But again, you got that deep bank right there. Got that little run out there. Water's going this way. We're throwing back up this direction and working it back down.
I could do this all day.
Yeah, and you will be. Snookerama. fishing the creeks and rivers. Love it.
Is that a steal?
Yeah, that was a steal. Like bass fishing. You with the plug, or me with the plug I should say, and you with the baby goat.
I like this baby goat.
I like that little feeder over there coming out of that
Oh, yeah.
that back, so that water is coming right down here along all these laydowns. Lots of action. Again, a little bit deeper undercut bank over there. You can see those little spots where it's really kind of undercut like that, where the water drops off faster. That's definitely where they've been. Oh, and he's off. That's definitely been the secret.
This is great too, and they're self-releasing, so it's been wonderful.
And you get down there and the bank gets flatter, it's not as good. But right here where you get these cuts, man, this stuff is good in here.
In here, we haven't seen any redfish.
Get closer to the mouth, you will. You'll see them. You'll catch them. Nice. I'm gonna get your picture with this one. Oh, and he goes. Let you hold on to this one.
Okay, I'm gonna get my finger in there, babe. I don't have it. You take up a lot of room when you hold him.
So the day ends like it started, right here at the boat barn. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit, especially about the snake locks and the Texas eye. Those are the two baits that really came through for us, fishing all that lay down wood and those stumps along the riverbanks and the creek mouths. That really paid off for us today. We must have caught 20 snook today. So good day of fishing. Thanks for tagging along in this adventure with us. And if you like what you're seeing here at Flats Class YouTube, give us that big thumbs up and subscribe. We want to make you better anglers. All right, till next time, Captain C.A. signing out.